Welcome to the May vlog. It is the 1st of May today. Officially her due month. When she'll come, I don't know, so we'll have to see. So we'll start off vlogging as normal and we'll just see where this month takes us. So it's been quite a few days since obviously I filmed, because I kind of cut off April quite early just to get up on that day I wanted to. We haven't done too much, to be fair. Kind of the weekend we spent mainly chilling, and we kind of watched a couple of musicals. So on Saturday night we watched Rent, and on Sunday night we watched Dreamgirls, which was fun. And then this week, yeah, I've just been doing the usual stuff around the house. Nothing particularly interesting. My parents came over yesterday for some lunch, which was nice, and I think that's now like officially the last time I'm going to see any family as just the two of us. So yeah, and everyone's away actually on her due date, which is fun. So I still haven't done the nursery yet. I still need to get paint for that, but I think that's going to be a task for when she is here, because I think this weekend we're not planning on doing too much because we're getting very close now. But it's a bit of a warm week this week. I think today's the hottest day. It's meant to be 27 degrees. So we're going to have some pizza with our pizza oven in the garden this evening. So I've got the dough out of the fridge, out of the freezer, because we already made some dough. And then before Jamie gets back, I'll start making the sauce, and then we can I'll turn the pizza oven on when he actually gets back, because it doesn't take too long to fire up. So some pizza tonight outside. So I'm just going to kind of potter around the house a bit. I filmed a few more makeup looks. So yeah, actually on a comment on my last video where I showed the lemon nails that I did, and it was suggested I'll do a few more in advance ready for when she's here, which I was going to do anyway, but I've currently got a strawberry set on, which is quite fun. I messed up slightly, but I think they turned out quite well. But I actually have done 3 more sets ready to go, so if she does come, I don't have to worry too much. So let's have a look. They aren't the best, I'm not like, so I'm still learning. So we've got a blueberry set here. I then got a cherry set. And then this is a orange and raspberry set. So I want to combine the two, because then I want to move on to like a different theme. So I'm thinking like ladybugs or bees or some kind of insecty theme next. But who knows. I'll show you the garden later, because some things have, stuff has started growing a bit. The potatoes are growing, let us know tomorrow. And we've kind of put trellis up the fence for the clematis. Is that what they're called? So they can't travel up the fence. Yeah, but today's just filled with just doing stuff around the house. Really doing a few workouts. And that's it really. But yeah, so I'll keep vlogging until I can't, and we'll just see how this vlog goes. Hey, it is a Friday. I'm currently upstairs because Jamie's working from home today, and he's currently on a course, so I thought I'd stay up here. We did have a desk put in here. It didn't last very long. The wall wasn't quite strong enough, so we had to come out. So yeah, he kind of needs to work on the dining room table when he works from home, because this little desk isn't really big enough. But I've done a bit of makeup today, as you can see. But I thought I'd pick another set of nails whilst I'm up here. Bee themed, I think. And then yeah, we haven't got too much. Obviously Jamie's working today, but I haven't got too much planned today. We got a growth scan actually today. It's the first scan we've had since the 20-week mark. When we last went to the midwife appointment, apparently she was the same, like the measurements have been the same for the last 3 times. Now the midwife before should have apparently picked that up and then requested a growth scan, but didn't. So this time they requested a growth scan. So I've got one booked in for today, just to make sure she's alright. I mean, she's kicking away. Her heart was always going strong whenever they measured, so I'm not too worried, because I've had like a different midwife each time, and they do slightly measure, because they just use a tape to measure my bump, and I do notice they start and stop sometimes in different areas, so I'm not too worried. But it'd be nice to actually see her again, because yeah, like I said, the last scan was a 20-week scan. So yeah, that's exciting. So we got that today, and then a pretty chilled weekend, because obviously I don't want to do too much, or plan in too much, because we don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do some bee nails. I think I might incorporate a bit of blue, so it's not just pure yellow. as a theme. But I'll show you once I'm done. So I'm just gonna set myself up, watch a bit of YouTube in the background, and that's my morning, I think. Bee set done. I do think these are the worst ones I've done so far. I don't really like the look of the bees, and I don't know why I'm having such issue with flowers. Flowers seem to be my downfall, so I need to practice those, but I'm going to keep them. I quite like the yellow and blue together. I think it's quite fun, but it's not my favourite set, I have to be honest. But that's what I'm doing. It's just have fun, practice, and the next set is probably going to be ladybugs. But yeah, that is the bee set. So it is the 3rd. I am in the same clothes I was yesterday, just because it was easy and I didn't really wear them for that long. I just thought I'd quickly update on, because obviously we went to the growth scan yesterday. All good. She is on par with the lines. It looks like she's about 7 pounds 10 ounces at the moment, but in terms of length and stuff, she's all good. So I wasn't too worried anyway. Like I said, like when they measure the bump, they're measuring with a measured tape, but also it's been a different person each time, so some I have noticed do start and end in different areas, so that's all good. But it's weird because obviously the last scan we had was the 20-week scan where we found out that she was going to be a girl, but this time you can only see bits of her because she's big now. You only see like bits of her, so we saw the head and then the spine, and then we saw a hand. Because they did offer us photos, but we're like, well, can't really, she's a bit too big, so it'd just be like parts of her, so we didn't get the photos. But no, she is all good. We're all good. So it's now just a countdown. It was Jamie's sister's birthday yesterday, so we thought, oh, could she come then? But no. It's May the 4th tomorrow. Not really a Star Wars fan, so I'd rather she didn't come on that day. But who knows? Who knows? It's less than a week till she's actually due, so we'll just see what happens and when she comes. But today is it's a nice sunny day actually, so we're going to spend a bit of time in the garden later. We did the food shop this morning, and we dropped some stuff at Royal Mail, and then we got a tip run to do this afternoon because Jamie's cleared out the garage a bit. But I think we're going to spend the rest of the day in the garden, read a book, because it's a very, very nice day, very nice sunny day. But whilst Jamie's sorting out the garage, I'm going to paint another set of nails, because why not? I'm just watching some YouTube whilst I do it, because that's how I spend my days. My strawberry ones have come off. They came off last night actually. They were on there for about 5-6 days anyway. So tonight I'm going to put on the blueberry set that I've done, but I'm going to do a ladybug set. So this is kind of, I've just prepped the base, so I'm going to do white with black polka dots here. These two will be ladybugs. This one, I don't know, I'm either going to keep it like this and then with black polka dots, or do a red French tip with black polka dots on it. Haven't decided. And this one's just going to have white polka dots on. So kind of a polka dot theme with the ladybugs, so I think it looks quite cool. I've kind of got a few images up here from Pinterest. And my mum's trying to talk me into maybe doing a course whilst I'm off to learn to do nails properly, and then you know, a bit of a side hustle. So yeah, I don't think I've got too much to update on. Oh, I did round 2 of the Victoria sponge. I never showed you the state of the original Victoria sponge. I'll put a picture here. It was disastrous. Whereas this one, we've eaten it now, was the new one. It turned out much better. But I think Jamie said he's going to bake this weekend, so I think we're getting muffins. But yeah, we'll try not to do, it's a bank holiday weekend again this weekend, but we'll try not to do too much, because obviously we just don't know what's going to happen. She could come this week, it could be next week, you know, she's due next Friday, so who knows when she's going to come. She's been very wriggly at the moment, which is good. Yeah, we'll just have to see. I'm going to carry on with my nails. I'll do a quick check-in to show you them. And then yeah, might play some games later as well, so I'll throw in a bit of that if we do play anything, because I don't want this vlog to be boring or anything like that, and just me talking to you the whole time. So I'll keep you updated. Okay, so it's the 6th of May today, it's a Tuesday. Jamie's back at work, so obviously yesterday was the bank holiday, which was nice. I didn't show you the brownies in the end that I made. They are some, oh, you can't see those. They are some tasty brownies. We had one yesterday. But I probably need to stop on the baking front because it can't be particularly good for us, I'll be honest, with the amount of baking I've been doing recently, but it keeps me occupied at the moment, so I need to come up with some kind of healthier treats. But I do want to do in the summer is do a series of like making my own veggie burgers from scratch. Because I've done it a few times. We used to get HelloFresh back in the old house. A few came with burgers that you make up kind of from scratch. So I kind of want to do like a series like that of trying different ones. And I also like the idea of creating different flavoured ice lollies as well. Because I used to love that as a kid, creating ice lollies and putting them in the fridge. So I thought again, make it interesting. And then I thought I'd do another series of like mocktails as well. Because although once she's here I can have a drink here and there, I still have to be kind of careful and stuff. So if I can make some interesting mocktails for the summer, I think that'd be nice. So that's kind of what I need to do, is start coming up with some healthy baking ideas, but also do a few other fun things as well. So yes, I want to show you brownies. I also want to show you the garden so far, because obviously it's been a month since we planted some stuff up. Everything's growing quite fast. We've put, obviously, I don't know if you saw, we put fencing around the beds now, and there's now a trellis up as well. But I will go outside. Oh, it's a lovely day today as well, and I'll quickly show you. There it goes. Yeah, potatoes are growing fast. The rose bush is starting to come back. The onions are sprouting at the back there. These ones take it in turns. The yellow ones were doing really well, and now these purple ones are, so they will come back next year, but they only flower for a certain amount of time. Got the strawberry plants, and yeah, trellis for the plants at the back. And like I said, we've put, well, Jamie's put some kind of trim around the bedding. And we might do something similar here and decorate the elephant again, but have just mainly plants, not really vegetables and stuff like that, but we'll see. But yeah, things are growing quite nicely out there, which is good. What was my next task? My next task. So obviously we did the living room this year, kind of painted, decorated. There are just some bits I need to go over. So Jamie's gone, some of the data route had gaps in it still. So Jamie's filled them in, but to kind of cover up the filler, we've got like some wood filler crayons. So my task today is go through around all the gaps and fill them in. He did a tester upstairs and it actually worked really well. So you just kind of cover them in, he rubs them in a little bit with his finger, and it masks it quite nicely. So that is my task now. So I need to, I think this is the colour he's used. But yeah, there's a few other ones, and there's a white wood filler stick as well. So it's just quite good to go through. And if I do this, now is this the right colour? I think I've picked the wrong colour up, hang on. Yeah, it's working. I think I might put you down because doing this one-handed isn't easy, and I'll kind of show you the end result and see how well I can merge that wood filler gap in. Okay, so I filled this one in. I don't think I've done the best job. It definitely looks less noticeable, so if you're not looking up close, you no longer see the join, but I'm not sure I've done a great job, and I've actually got some on the wall, but there is a white pencil, so I might try and go over it with the white pencil. And it's quite hard to get in the ridges. Like there's some here which I think is obviously the wood filler, but it got spread along. That's the only thing, but it does, I mean, it works. It definitely hides what needs to be hidden. I'm just not sure I've done a particularly great job of it, but hey ho, I will let Jamie make the decision later. Yeah, that's it so far. So it's a bit late in the day now. I've taken off my makeup and actually got changed because it's surprisingly warm today. I thought the heat wave was going, but no, we're back with the heat wave. I had some photos arrive, so I think if you watched April's vlog, you know I was trying to find photos for the last bit of 2024 for our album, but also for the baby journal as well. And they've arrived, so I was just having a little look through them. So we've got one, this was Christmas Eve. We've got a few here from our trip to Bruges. That's not a very good way of showing you. That was end of last year. What else we got? I got some, oh, that was Padstow, so our little baby moon we went on. I love Padstow, it's one of my favourite places. And hopefully October we're going there, because, well, October and December. Because I think I might have mentioned already that we've got actually a few holidays booked up. Oh, there's another one in Bruges. And also I took some pictures of food whilst in Bruges. Oh, and there's actually quite funny. There's a place in Bruges that sell really decadent hot chocolates. Oh, there you go. And they're massive. Size of my head. Yeah, we booked a trip in August to go to the Lake District. So that's our first holiday that we've got with her. Then I think we're going with Jamie's parents to Peak District. Not too far afterwards. Then we've got the kind of birthday family trip, October, which is down in Cornwall, which we went to for when it was my 30th and my grand's 80th, for like our birthday thing. So I think I already mentioned this year it's my dad's 70th, brother-in-law's 30th, and then right at the beginning of next year is my sister's 30th. So it kind of, we're doing it something like that. And then potentially near Christmas we might be going down to join my sister in Padstow for a few days. So the Cornwall trip in October, hopefully we'll go to Padstow, and then hopefully at the end of the year as well we will also be heading down to Padstow. So that would be fun, because it's one of my favourite places. I think this was a photo that I put on my Facebook and Instagram, my personal one, when we announced that I was pregnant. Because I didn't actually, to my family we announced it, well, my parents and Jamie's parents, we announced it at the 8-week mark because, well, partly because for Jamie's birthday, my parents had got on a whiskey tasting in Bath, and we were going to stay over, have some drinks, all sorts. So I kind of had to, on the day, we went to theirs because they were going to just drive us over, and I had to kind of break it like, I won't be drinking actually. And then a few weeks before that, we went on holiday with Jamie's parents, and again, we announced it then. But in terms of like the rest of the family, like our sisters, and brother-in-law and grandparents, that was the 12-week mark we told them. No, I didn't like announce it to anybody else until Christmas time. Obviously work knew when I had the 20-week scan to find out whether it was a boy or girl, and I kind of just made, I wasn't going to, but I just did it there and then told them. But yeah, so yeah, the photos arrived. I'm not going to do that today. I think I might do that tomorrow as one of my tasks, put them in the albums and stuff. But I wanted to, really quickly, I think I put a post up last month. So actually by the time this video goes up, Naturissimo will no longer be a website, which is very, very sad. So it looks like a company called Oh My Cream is taking them over. It seems to be a very similar concept where it's clean beauty and it's a range of brands, but it's luxurious brands. So a lot of the brands I loved on Naturissimo, not there. And there was some issue with points going across, because I had a few, well, I didn't actually have that many points because I recently used them. So I'm a bit sad about that, because I love Naturissimo and the variety of stuff they did, and the price ranges, and all the little starter kits they had, and just boxes they brought out. So I'll have to look at Omicron. I will have a look and see what they kind of, if they do boxes and stuff like that, and starter kits. But like a lot of the brands, and the affordable brands, are gone. So like Q&A, which I think I mentioned was like a really good, like drugstore priced clean beauty skincare brand, which actually keeps skincare very simple but to the right needs. If you watch the skincare video I did way back, I mentioned them. As a few other brands, they don't have, Kosas isn't on there, Make It Wise, no Lily Lolo. Obviously I can go directly to these company, like the websites of the actual brands, which I will do. But I like the fact I can explore, and also I found a lot of new brands through Naturismo because of the starter kits and stuff like that. So I was a bit sad. And yeah, we'll see. I will take a look at it and see if what it's like, but yeah, a lot of the brands seem to have gone. So what I did do on my phone, I screenshotted all the brands that Naturismo had, so I didn't forget about them. Because obviously there's some like products from the brands I've tried once, or like one product from a brand because I got them a kit, and I've been then meaning to try a few other things but haven't got around to it yet, because obviously I'm doing my one in one out sort of thing with makeup and skincare at the moment. So yeah, a bit of a shame really. I really enjoy Naturismo. It served me well getting into clean beauty, because that and Love Lula, which is gone. Well, Love Lula is now I think just a subscription based box website now, but that used to be another place I used to go quite a bit to discover brands. Which I might look into that, see how much the subscription box is. But Naturismo is very much my go-to for finding clean beauty and just discovering new brands. So a little bit of a shame, but yeah. That's probably what I'm going to update on today. Tomorrow, Wednesday, another day closer. There was me convinced she was going to be early, and now I'm thinking she's probably going to be late, like most people say first time babies are. Unless she's in the 5% that comes on her due date, I'll be very surprised. But we shall see, we shall see. I've got another midwife appointment on Thursday, which is the day before her due date. Potentially getting a membrane sweep. I haven't decided yet. I think I probably will. But we'll see, we'll see. And yeah, I'll keep you updated. So like I said, tomorrow, I think I'll do the photos tomorrow. Put them away because it's like almost 4 o'clock now. So I need to think about making dinner for when Jamie gets home from work and stuff. So yeah, that's the plan. I just thought I'd do a really quick update. Today is the 9th. It's meant to be her due date. She obviously isn't here. I think I mentioned, because I had an appointment yesterday, that I might be offered the membrane sweep. I was, but she recommended actually holding off until I'm overdue, because you're only allowed 2. It doesn't always work, and it can be a lot of discomfort for no reason. So she said I'd rather, she said it's up to me, but she would advise waiting until I'm overdue, so it's a bit more beneficial that way. So I didn't have it. I actually was quite happy she said that. So I'm holding off a few days. I've got an appointment for it a bit later on. But yeah, so far a no-show. I think only 5% of babies come on their due date. So we'll see what happens, but I'll keep you updated. And like I said, I think I will document parts of it. Maybe not the birth itself, but I will like the lead up to it and stuff, and we'll just see what happens. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly come in and just let you know. Hello, it is the 13th of May. I thought I'd do a little check-in. Probably from this point onwards, the vlog is very much going to be my updates with going to labour and stuff. So if you aren't interested, which is absolutely fine, probably end now. If I do film anything once she's here at the end of May that's interesting, I'll put a timestamp here. But if you aren't interested, this is probably the end of the vlog for you. But if you are interested, then carry on watching. Just updates, I'm currently 40+4. I was meant to have a membrane sweep on Sunday, but didn't have it in the end because she wasn't far enough down. But then last night I had to go to maternity triage because of reduced movements. Usually for her, she does a little bit of moving in the morning. Throughout the day I don't tend to notice her. She's quite chill. Also I'm quite busy, or I try and keep myself busy, so I don't really notice her movements. And if you're like doing a lot of moving anyway, it kind of rocks them to sleep anyway. But usually then come around like dinner time and then in the evening she's doing somersaults in my stomach. She wasn't doing that last night at all. So we did go to maternity triage, and I was put on monitor for about, I don't know how long whether it took the whole hour or not. I can't remember. It's probably about 40-45 minutes. But her heart rate was absolutely fine. She actually did start moving again, obviously, once we got there, but still not as much as she usually would do. But yeah, we were there for a bit. It was quite late. Well, late for us anyway, 11 o'clock. And yeah, they monitor, they were all happy. It turns out, well, according to the monitor, I was having contractions. I can't feel them. And today I was meant to have a membrane sweep, but they actually said, well, do you want us to do it whilst I was there? We can do one for you now. So I did. I had one last night instead. It was not too bad. A lot of people say it's very painful. I think it just depends on your body and stuff. It was a bit uncomfortable, but it wasn't too bad. But she managed to do it. She could feel the baby's head, which I find weird. I was only 0.5 centimetre dilated. So there is a potential that I may get induced. I'm actually on standby at the moment for a call to be booked in. And then if I don't hear anything at 2 o'clock, I've got to go in just to be monitored for a bit, just to make sure she is still okay. She's been moving actually quite a bit this morning, but still, like last night, she wasn't really moving as much as she usually would do. So we'll see what happens. All our bags are packed anyway. We've actually put them in the car now, so they're permanently in the car ready to go, just in case. So yeah, from this point on, it'll just be a matter of a few updates here and there. I don't know how much I'm going to do, to be honest, update wise, and whether I want to do anything when I'm actually at the hospital. So we'll just see how it goes, but hopefully little one should be here very, very soon. Hello. I think it's been quite some time since I filmed in this vlog. I want to say the last update I gave was a potential waiting for a call to be induced. And about probably half an hour to an hour after I filmed that bit, I got the call. So I have given birth now. She's currently 8 days old. The birth itself didn't go, well, no, the things I wanted, or hoped for anyway, because I know not everything goes the way it could do, I didn't necessarily get. And I did get all the things I was hoping not to get. A lot of intervention had to happen. And I was in hospital for 5 days in total. A lot of it, the first 3 days, were waiting around for stuff to happen more than anything. And then the actual labour, from the proper start of labour, was probably, I want to say, just under 24 hours. So I wouldn't say, it wasn't necessarily a negative labour. It wasn't fully positive either, and I think actually I've learned a lot of stuff that maybe I would do or try and do differently. I always saw videos like, if you don't want something to happen, obviously voice it. And I think I got swept up with all the medical jargon, and to a degree, and it all happened so fast when it did get going that I didn't really kind of take it all in. So I was just like, yes, if we need to do it, we need to do it. But she's here, she's happy, she's healthy. She was actually quite a bit bigger baby, because I don't know if I mentioned that we went to a growth scan because of static growth, and she was measuring 7 pounds, 13 ounces, 10 ounces. And that was a week before she was born. She actually was 8 pounds, 12 ounces when she was born. She's not a particularly chunky baby, she's quite long. So unfortunately a lot of her newborn stuff, we've got a pile that we haven't been able to fit on her, so she hasn't been able to warn just because she's quite long. That's fine, because we're going to vacuum, when we get a big pile, we'll vacuum bag it up. And then if we do happen to have a girl for the second one, then there'll be stuff ready to go. If not, then we can take it to a charity, or if someone happens to be pregnant at the time, whatever, we could do that. So yeah, so I thought I'd just share in case you were interested. It won't be a lengthy video at all. So yeah, so about half an hour, maybe an hour after I updated you, I did then get the call. I was hoping that it would be par for a few days, because obviously the Monday before I had, or the previous night when I had to go to triage, I did have a membrane sweep, so I was hoping that would naturally kick in and maybe kickstart a bit of labour. It obviously didn't have a chance to do that, but we went in, so we went up to the maternity ward, and luckily I had a side room, because they had side rooms, and then they also have like bays where it's like 4 women to a bay. I was there for a couple of hours, settled in, and luckily we had things packed, ready to go. So first of all, tried to induce me. So when they did a little check, I was half a centimetre, but my cervix was right at the back. So for them, if they wanted to break the waters, it just wasn't possible. So I had what was a I'm going to get some of these names wrong, prostaglandin, maybe, which they describe as like a flat tampon. It's basically like a bit of paper or a bit of plastic cardboard on a string that they stick up for 24 hours and in the hopes that it kind of starts to dilate the cervix or softens it so you can get up and break the waters. So I had that. It didn't really feel it, and just it was sat there comfortably. 24 hours later, it hadn't done anything. So the next step was to use like tablets they put up there called, I want to say, Prostins. So they did the first one, and that's a 6-hour wait. So again, they put it on, not uncomfortable. I didn't find, up until this point, any of the cervix examinations I had, I didn't find painful. They were certainly uncomfortable because someone's rooting around in there, but I didn't find them particularly painful up until this point anyway. So yeah, the first prostate went in, they have to give it 6 hours to do anything. It didn't do anything. So they put the second one in, because they usually give 2. That one actually did start doing something. So this would now be the early hours of Wednesday morning. So I went in Tuesday. No. Early hours of Thursday. Yeah, I went in Tuesday, 24 hours with the first one, so that was Wednesday. So early hours of Thursday. They put the second one in, and actually I did start to feel like I had contractions, and actually they had to put me on a monitor for a while, because we have to anyway for a certain time, just to make sure like the baby's heartbeat, like the induction method isn't affecting the baby's heartbeat, isn't affecting mine, she's still moving, and they actually had to keep me on for quite a while with that one, because the contractions were coming, not particularly painful, it was just like really painful period pains. And I had a TENS machine, so it kind of helped. But they did keep us on because her heart rate was getting quite fast, because the contractions were coming quite rapidly, so I didn't really have a gap in between. And my heart rate was quite high as well. But it did calm down, because what they would do is then obviously give me an injection to kind of take away some of the effect of the Prostin. But after a couple of hours it all settled down and it was absolutely fine. I had no contractions again since. So once that 6 hours had been up, they had a little inspection again. They said that my cervix was soft, very soft, but they still thought it was a bit too far back. They said potentially they could get up there, but it would be dependent on the doctor. So a doctor came along, and now she was a bit aggressive with my cervix, I'll be honest. She was the only one that I found painful, I guess because she was really trying to root around in there and see if she determined that she could get in there and break my waters. She didn't actually do my water breaking, but she determined that I could be moved down to the delivery suite to get the process started. So that was like Thursday morning, like, I don't know, 8:30, 9. And then it was just a waiting game for a delivery suite to be freed up. Now we had been told there was a lady from the previous day still waiting to go down until her water's been broken. So we were assuming we were going to be in this room again for another 24 hours. So although I was in hospital for 5 days, a lot of it was just trying to get things started and waiting around. So I didn't really experience, apart from some contractions on the second prostin. I didn't really experience any labour symptoms or anything like that. And luckily we brought cards, and it was also beautiful weather that week, so we went out for lots of walks, because as long as we were back for the observations, which were over 4 hours, we didn't have to stay in the room. So we went on walks, we had some lunch, all that. If we'd been, we're a 10-minute drive from the hospital, if we'd been any closer walking distance, we could have gone home in between, but unfortunately we weren't quite. But yeah, we did, and we had ice cream out in the sun. It was nice. So although yeah, like I said, the first bit was just long, and it was just a bit frustrating that things weren't happening because we weren't allowed to go home in between, and especially for poor Jamie, he had to sleep in a chair for all of it. But so yeah, so we thought we were gonna have to wait like 24 hours before we'd actually get my waters broken, but actually 6:30 on that Thursday evening, 2 ladies came in and took us down to the delivery suite to break my waters. And the breaking of waters was absolutely fine. Again, the midwives, very lovely when it comes to cervical examinations. The doctor, not so much. Yeah. So they managed to break my waters. Very peculiar feeling. Didn't feel like, well, for me, I know it's different for everyone, it didn't feel like a rush of water coming out. But what was, obviously I had to put a pad in because it was continuous like leakage throughout, which was a weird sensation. It was a bit like being back on my period, which I'm not looking forward to starting again when it does finally start. And yeah, they broke my waters. They said they would expect in a couple of hours for me to start having contractions, and if they didn't, and if I didn't, they'd have to give me the hormonal drip, which is again something I really didn't want, because I knew from what I've heard of a lot of people's experiences, again everyone's different, the hormonal drip does bring the contractions on faster and slightly more intense, and usually, not always, can lead to an epidural, which again was something I wasn't particularly high on my list to have. But they recommended, they said, the waters are broken, go and wander for the next 2 hours, see if that will help kickstart the contractions, eat, because once I'm on hormonal drip, I won't be able to eat. Luckily we'd had dinner prior to me being sent down. So we just went, we got snacks, and we got some still Lucozade from the vending machines, because I was only allowed to really drink fluids, and we thought that would help boost, well, they recommended it would boost like energy as we go. So we did that. Contractions didn't come on, so they did put a hormonal drip on me. I was a bit worried about the cannula, because I heard again that's quite painful. The actual insert, the insertion I didn't mind. That was fine and all the things. It was when, it was much later on, kind of almost towards the end, where she put something in it that hurt for some reason. It just felt uncomfortable, and I felt like I couldn't have full movement on the hand because I was worried about bending it a certain way, because obviously there's a tube up there. So they did put me on the hormonal drip, which also meant, well, it didn't limit my mobility because I could still move and obviously go to the bathroom, but I'd have to take this, you know, big thing with me as I went. Started off okay. I had my TENS machine. The TENS machine I actually thought was really good. I quite like to get one for when my period does start, for period pains, because I quite enjoyed it. And actually it was funny because I was having contractions and it was manageable with the TENS machine. And the woman, the midwife, this is something that I didn't realise was going to happen in the delivery suite, is obviously I had the hormonal drip in, it was getting towards like 10, 11 at night, both me and Jane were like, oh, I could really do just sleeping. I wasn't aware that the midwife stays in the room the entire time. So as we waiting for her to disappear and then come back on checking us like we did back on the maternity ward, but no, she stayed the whole time, and every so often to relieve her, a woman would come in to do like some observations and just check over what they've done. And the first woman that came in afterwards just to kind of monitor brought a chair, because it was like quite a biggish room, and the midwife's computer was in a corner, so she sat at the desk. They literally have to type up every update onto the system, which is crazy. They said there's so much more paperwork they have to do nowadays. Oh, you're okay. You're okay. I see ya. I see ya. You're okay. Yeah. Yeah, but they said for the first woman that came in to kind of take over so the midwife could go and have a quick break, she pulled up a chair almost like right next to me and just sat and watched and then ask me questions. And me and Jim were like secretly WhatsApping each other like, do they not leave for the whole time? I really want to sleep. But no, they don't. Eventually we did get a bit of sleep, but the midwife came over because she was worried the hormone drip wasn't working because she didn't think I was having contractions, or I was showing us having contractions on the monitor but not really reacting. So she was like, I just want to make sure the hormone drip's working. You having contractions? I was like, yeah, I am. The tension seems to be helping. She was like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're very calm. I thought something wasn't happening. I was like, thanks. So that was that, and then yeah, that was probably like around, we're getting close to 2 o'clock in the morning now, and contractions are ramping up. I'm now on gas and air, which definitely helped take the edge off the very first time. It was really trying to get used to using the gas and air, but once you get it, you kind of, it does work quite effectively. It's weird because you've got to work out, you need to start doing it as soon as you start feeling one, so that by the time it gets to the peak, the gas and air's in you. And I sometimes like, is this a start or is this just a twinge? So I would go for it anyway, just to be on the safe side. Usually it was a contraction, but it was getting to a point where I was starting to struggle a little bit with the pain, and I wasn't very far gone in terms of centimetres. I don't know if it was like 2 centimetres or something at this time. I was contracting the way I wanted to, so they say about ½ a centimetre per hour, which is a long time, and when the contractions are coming thick and fast, it was starting to kind of take its toll slightly. So I did, and they did say if you do want an epidural, you kind of want to make the decision sooner rather than later, only because, you know, the anaesthetist could be with another person, they've got to do all setting up, so it could take, by the time you request it, it could take still another hour before you actually get it. And I was getting to the point where I was like, I really don't want to cave, but I don't know if I can do anymore. I wasn't like, I was still pretty calm at this point. I surprised myself with my pain tolerance, because I think there's a woman next door who you could really hear her going through her contractions. And I was still pretty non-vocal with mine at this point, but I was struggling. So I did, in the end, opt for an epidural. And then I had a button to kind of top up every so often, which I didn't find I needed to top up too much. I found it really quite effective, and it was great. And it meant actually that both myself and Jamie could sleep, because obviously Jamie didn't want to sleep whilst I was going through the contractions. So it meant that we could both, and we did get a good amount of sleep, and I don't think we really woke up again. Well, I woke up here and there because obviously they have to do like blood pressure and stuff, so I'm on constant monitoring with the hormonal drip, but it's wireless, unlike back at the maternity ward, so I could move about and stuff and it wasn't a big deal. But they obviously had to keep doing blood pressure every so often and stuff like this, just to make sure everything was okay with me. But you kind of wake up, they do blood pressure, and I kind of just went back to sleep again. So that was fine. It was probably like morning time. Kind of woke up, still felt absolutely fine. Some contractions. I think at this point I was 4 centimetres maybe. And then they did the handover, because they do like a 7:30 to 8 shift. So the new midwife came in at 7:30, 8. They did like the handover swap with me. Both midwives were really lovely. The first midwife I had was actually, it was her first shift back from maternity leave herself. Midwife swapped, still all going well. I didn't really feel anything. It was not until, I'd say around 1:30 in the afternoon that day, on the Friday, I started to get a lot of pain on my left hand side, and I was topping up the epidural, and we determined it wasn't contractions I was feeling or anything like that, because I know you can still feel pressure, especially towards the end. Like, it takes the pain of the contractions, but the pressure of her, maybe like trying to push through, you can still very much feel the pressure of that. But it wasn't that, it was where she was sat in me, she was slightly back to back and on my like right hand side, so that, and we think she was pushing on a nerve, so that was quite painful. So I had to like move positions, try and get off it a little bit, and once I did, the pain went. So she was definitely on a nerve for a while, and then the pressure really started to build up, and I was like, either I need to go to the toilet or something's about to happen. and I was starting to get a little upset at this point. This is the first, I think, at that point. She'd also done something with the cannula at that point where she added something in that really hurt. And I think that, with the real pressure that I was feeling, I slightly broke and did have a cry. And that was kind of, I think, the only time I did cry throughout the whole thing. But I did break, and I think it was just like, everything was overwhelming. I was like, this feels like it's never ending. And I was like, I really feel like either I need to go to the toilet or I need to push, one of the two. And she's like, right, if you feel like you need to push, you check quickly. And I was fully dilated. So she's like, if you feel like you need to push. So I tried initially, with the epidural that I had, I wasn't completely immobile. I could still have use of my legs. They felt a little bit heavier, so I could move about still, that was another thing I didn't want with the epidural, was not to be able to be in a different position when trying to give birth. So I initially got onto, not quite all fours, but like my hands up, so the bed obviously was upright, my hands on top of the bed, so I was facing towards the bed but outwards. And I tried for a while to push down, it wasn't working. So she had a little check to see where the baby was. She's starting to come down, but not really. So we changed position. So at one point I was never purely on my back, which is what I wanted, but they did put like stirrups up for me to try that way. And we did a method called tug of war, where she has like a blanket, she'll hold on and I hold on. We basically tug of war with it whilst I try and push down. And they could feel her coming, she was coming, but because she was back to back, it was just a struggle to get around this like bend of the canal, is what she said. Yeah, because that's always the bit that's the hardest, is trying to get past that canal bit and around the bend, and because she was back to back as well, it didn't help things. So I think we were pushing, I was pushing for over an hour, and I think they were starting to get concerned because I was starting to get tachycardic. Is that what they said? So the doctor did come in and explain, we think because of your heart rate and everything that's happening right now, it may be wise to come up with a different method. We would like to do forceps, if possible. We want to try and rotate the baby and then potentially use forceps. And he went through what the procedure would be. So I would have local anaesthetic, so I would be completely numb and not be able to move. They potentially would have to cut, so do an episiotomy. I can't remember any of the terms, which again was something I was really worried about tearing as well, and having that done. And then they would try and rotate and then try and use forceps to get the baby out. If that were to fail, it would be a C-section. So all kind of, once that started happening, it all happened very fast, a bit blur. I didn't really take in all the information. Jamie did say to me after, he's like, I don't know what happened, I was suddenly given scrubs and had to scrub in, and he was like, he said that was the minute he almost broke because he didn't know what was going to happen. So yeah, I kind of didn't really take in everything he said. I signed a consent form. I was like, I'm at this point where I don't know what's happening. If you think this is best, just do what you need to do. So yes, they took me through to surgery. Completely numbed me. You're okay. Completely numbed me. It was a weird experience because, like I said, I've never had surgery. I've never been numb before or anything like that. We're in surgery. They explain again what was going to happen. Again, I was getting the shivers at this point. It's quite regular where you kind of like get the shivers. It's just adrenaline, all kinds of things going on. And actually, I forgot to say, I did throw up as well. When I was trying to push, I did end up feeling really sick and throw up, which apparently is very common as well. I know, but I'm just explaining how you came into this world. Yeah, we went through to surgery. She rotated her, but the problem is she kept rotating back on her. She was a very fidgety baby in the belly, apart from that one night where I had reduced movements, which started this whole fiasco off. And every time they tried to like monitor her, she'd just be all over the place. They have to keep moving the monitor. She's a very, very active baby, and she's still very active and alert now. So they kept rotating and she kept rotating back, plus they said a bit of my cervix was in the way, so even if they got in the right position, they couldn't use forceps to get in there to get her out because of my cervix being in the way. So they said, look, we are going to have to do a C-section. So, like I said, all the things that are at my bottom of my list that I didn't overly want during this birth happened. So yeah, they prepped me for surgery. Obviously I was already in surgery, so they prepped me for the C-section. They put the screen up, all of that, explained what was going to happen. Luckily I didn't, obviously, because they couldn't rotate her in the right... Luckily, because they couldn't rotate her and put her in the right place, nothing had to be cut, or no tears, so I got my wish of not tearing down there, but partly because she didn't come out the way I was hoping she'd come out. And then they went for it, they did the C-section. Now, she came out, the first part of the C-section, she was out in seconds. All of a sudden I heard this cry, and they kind of peered, because obviously I couldn't have skin to skin straight away. So they gave her to Jamie straight away, so that he could, like, there was someone with her. They obviously cleaned her up as well, but they kind of over the screen peered her over, and I just saw this big blobby baby covered in it, all sorts, crying. She was very, very cute. So yes, they cleaned her up, they measured her. They have us board as well, so that obviously the surgeons, hey, have the radio playing, and they write on the board obviously like time she's born, the weight, her size. They also put like what song she's born to. So yeah, she came out to Take a Chance on Me by ABBA, which I love, so that's a fun fact. And then they had the part where they actually do me back up again, stitch me back up. Felt like it took for ages to stitch you back up again. So yeah, so she was born on the 16th of May at 5:40 p.m. So she born 4 days after I was admitted to hospital. So like I said, like the labour itself was only less than 24 hours, but it was just frustrating being in the hospital, like trying to get stuff started and it not working. And then I was like, well, had I not got this call, could I have gone into labour naturally? You don't know, you don't know what's going to happen, but it gives me an insight into how I could manage the next pregnancy more, because like, it's my first one, and although I kept seeing like videos saying like, ask for what you want, if you're not sure about something you can say no, but when you're in that moment it's all a bit of a blur and everything happens very quickly. So I got moved to a recovery suite for a couple of hours to be monitored after that, and then we went back to maternity ward and we were discharged 24 hours later. So I came on Saturday. My parents had to very kindly come over to take us home and bring my car home, because I'm now on a 6-week recovery, I can't drive, so I had to get my car home somehow. But she is here, she is safe, she's 8 days old like I said, and she's doing very well. Yeah, so her name as well, I'll just let you know her name. Oh, so her name, we had decided before we even talked about having kids, we had this name in mind anyway, and we were going back and forth with a few others, but this was one that came back every time. I don't know how we came up with it or what the reason why we wanted it, but we just loved the name. And on February we went on to Padstow for our baby moon. We were set on it, we were like, this is the name. We decided her middle name and how her surname's going to look, because obviously Jamie and I aren't married. And then so I kept seeing things where it's become a very popular name in 2025, and if we were to shorten it to a nickname, it's also become popular because a certain cartoon children's pig has had a piglet named this. So her name is Evelyn Wren. We haven't decided whether we will shorten it to Evie or not. We might let her decide whether she wants to shorten it, or her friends like shorten it to Evie or Eve or whatever, but for now she's Evelyn Wren. She's beautiful and we're doing very well. So yeah, so I just wanted to give, I wanted to document this birth, but it didn't really happen. It all happened kind of all of a sudden, and I didn't really take my camera with me to hospital either, so I thought I'd do a quick birth story just to bulk out May's vlog a bit. Hopefully June will be more interesting. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to leave it there because my camera's about to die. I hope you found this interesting in some way. And yeah, bye bye, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.